A little while ago, I released a video talking about the potential casting of one actor for Severus Snape in the Harry Potter series, the one that they had in mind. I said it was most likely going to be this person that they cast. Normally, when they make those kinds of posts, they're very close to making a decision. Well, that casting has now come true, and this is woke as it possibly could be. Hello and welcome back to Chat About It. Don't Chat About It with me, Rachel, the Queen of the Woke, as crowned by one of my haters. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel, switch on the notification bells so that you know I am releasing another video. Thank you to everyone who has joined me already. I can't run this channel without you. I discuss Doctor Who, that's mostly on Sundays, woke news, TV, TikTok, and film. My plan today really was to do a TikTok reaction, because this dropped yesterday, I have decided to move it to tomorrow instead. So you will get that video tomorrow. I thought best to cover this instead because, TikToks, they can wait. They genuinely can wait. Before I get into the context of what is happening here with the HBO Harry Potter series, I have no issue with Papa. I'd be happy for him to play another character in the series. My issue here lies with the people at the top who make this decision. They do this on purpose, and it's because it draws attention to it. Right, so this was released via Variety. Harry Potter HBO series confirms casting for Dumbledore, Snape, McGonagall, Hagrid, and more Hogwarts staffers. Now, it's been confirmed that Papa Essiadu is going to be playing Severus Snape, and yes, this is incredibly woke because they are doing this for the sake of doing it, and they are knowingly doing this to the most well-described character, I would say. I really would say. HBO is officially confirming the first cast members for the Harry Potter TV series. This cast now includes the following series regulars: John Lithgow, Conclave, The Crown as Albus Dumbledore, Janet McTeer, Tumbleweeds, The White Queen as Minerva McGonagall, Papa Essiadu, I May Destroy You, Gangs of London as Severus Snape, and Nick Frost, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz as Rubeus Hagrid. It had been previously reported that all four actors were in talks for the show. In addition, Luke Allen, Tom Stoppers, Leopold Stack, Rupert Gould's Patriots, has joined in the recurring role of Quirinus Quirrell. Paul Whitehouse, The Fast Show, Harry and Paul, will appear in the recurring role of Argus Filch. We are happy to announce the casting of John Lithgow, Janet McTeer, Papa Essiadu, Nick Frost, Luke Thallen, and Paul Whitehouse to play Dumbledore, McGonagall, Snape, Hagrid, Quirrell, and Filch, said Francesca Gardiner, showrunner and executive producer, and Mark Malloy, director of multiple episodes and executive producer. We're delighted to have such an extraordinary talent on board, and we can't wait to see them bring these beloved characters to life. HBO is describing the show as a faithful adaptation of the globally recognized J.K. Rowling book series, exploring every corner of the wizarding world. Each season will bring Harry Potter and its incredible adventures to new and existing audiences, per the official description. A faithful adaptation, to me, is something that takes the text. It respects the entire story, and it casts appropriately and includes as much detail as it possibly can from the story that it is trying to tell or adapt. Changing one of the most well-described characters in the story is not what I would call a faithful adaptation to the IP of that character. Now, J.K. Rowling would have had to have signed off on this, so she is therefore happy for this to go ahead and Snape to be changed altogether. I'm not going to shout and I'm not going to scream or stomp my feet at J.K. Rowling. I'm not going to stop talking to her even though I don't technically talk to her, just because she signed off on that. I'm not childish. I'm just sad that this has had to go and happen to my favourite character in the Harry Potter series. There will be people who will be absolutely ecstatic about this because it meets a lot of their ideologies. Some people just won't care. And then there will be people who will probably come across a lot more harsher than I ever am. And they will be extremely angry about this because it's been changed on purpose and it is a book that they love. I've said this before and I will say it again. I find this incredibly racist towards white men when they do things like this. And this is also racist towards Papa because this technically erases part of his cultural heritage. It could also potentially put him in the firing line as well from people, and I would never condone that. I'm not saying it is going to happen, but it's a potential, and please don't. There's also a black man plays the bad guy trope going on here that people don't like, especially in this day and age. So they've gone and cast Papa in this role as a bad man. Snape is not a good guy. He's horrible. He's a bully. He's offed people. He's incredibly selfish. He was a Death Eater. And then, only when he thought that the person that he loved was going to die, did he swear his allegiance to what we believe to be the good side. Because obviously, definitions of good and evil are completely different. Everything that he does in the book is for his own personal gain. People will say that he is an anti hero. Yeah, that may be the case, but he is still a bad guy. And I thought that was something that people were trying to fight and stop in Hollywood and within the entertainment industry. I also think that Papa is way too good looking. There will be people who will say this is a fine casting for Snape, who is described as an overgrown bat. He is given the description of sour milk, described as sallow, yellow-skinned. He has all these skin descriptors that are common with white people, and he is to be played by Papa. His skin colour in the book is not only part of his race, but it is there to install a sense of fear and absolutely embolden his description. You are meant to be given this sense of unease and dread every time Snape enters the room. His skin counters against what he wears. It's almost an ironic statement here, but this shows that white people can also be bad. Did they even think of that? And also, this would make James Potter and Sirius Black racists. It adds a whole different context to Snape that was just never there. They hang him from a tree upside down. Do I need to add any more to that statement? You see, this adds something that was never there to begin with. And I ask you, is that really something that people would want to see in an adaptation of The Order of the Phoenix? And I also ask you this. There will be people who will be happy for Snape to be played by Papa, but they would have a massive issue if characters like Kingsley, Dean, Lee Jordan, Angelina, Patil twins, Cho Chang, Blaise, Zabini, Lavender Brown, and many other characters, if they were changed. They don't need to do it in a book that has a pretty large demographic of representation that would have been accurate for the time period. And if they really must do it, it shouldn't be with a character that has the most obvious description. Perhaps maybe a character like Lupin or Slughorn or a character like that. You know, a character that doesn't have as many skin descriptions where it's just not obvious. Let's take a look at some reactions from X and see what they have to say. Can't they come up with something new instead of trying to recreate the original? That's a very good point. Why can't they do that? So James Potter and Sirius Black will be shown as disgusting racists. J.K. Rowling, I'm surprised you signed off on this casting. Me too. But, you know, J.K. Rowling's ideologies, well, people think she's far right, but she really isn't. This choice is just confusing. Great actor, I would agree, but wrong casting. definitely can see the bullying being race-based now, which just isn't the case in the books. It was never the case in the books. The books have its own form of racism in it, in the form of mudblood. So they are making the bad guy black. Interesting. Ooh, that's what I said. Great actor, but just like the Borderlands movie, which was full of some of good actors, this still feels like a miscast. The dude is going to get a ton of hate. Yes, I'm worried about that. Please don't send anyone hate. I'm not saying any of my subscribers will. It's just it's not cool. It's not cool. And yes, I would agree, miscast. And I'm saying miscast because it's going against the accuracy of the book, the authentic retelling that we were supposed to be getting. I'm sure that Papa could play the role, okay? I'm not judging his acting ability on this. So when they said it would be book accurate, what book did they mean? Describe Snape as J.K. Rowling does in the books. So this person asked Grok, I think, by the looks of it, or ChatGPT, one of the two. J.K. Rowling describes Severus Snape in the Harry Potter book series with a distinct and vivid physical appearance that reflects his brooding and enigmatic personality. Snape is portrayed as a thin man with sallow, pale skin, often likened to marble white, that's true, or sour milk, that's correct, emphasizing his unhealthy, that's correct, almost ghostly complexion. He has a large hooked nose and yellow uneven teeth, which add to his gaunt and unappealing look. His hair is shoulder-length, black and greasy, framing his face in curtains and often described as hanging in a way that would make him resemble an overgrown bat. When paired with his flowing black robes, Snape's eyes are dark, penetrating, and tunnel-like, conveying a sense of intensity and secrecy, though they lack warmth. Rowling also notes his lips curling, which often twists into sneers, reflecting his bitter and sardonic demeanour. Ooh, sardonic. I was not expecting that word, but yes, that's essentially Snape's description. That's racist. Yep, to both white and black people. Yeah, I'm out. I'm not entertaining this race swap BS anymore. Great, I have saved 100 hours now not watching this dumpster fire. I did go through to see if I could find opposing comments. I really couldn't. It was really difficult. There was a lot of comments attached. This was attached to the Variety post. Frankly, it feels like they're looking for something they can blame on it flopping. The show was never going to do that well because so many fans already see it as an unnecessary and a cash grab, to say nothing of how JKR is viewed by many former fans. Okay, well, Joe's opinions aside about trans, yeah, okay, you can see it as a cash grab. I would agree with that. It's Harry Potter. It is a cash grab. It is a cash cow. They're going to make as much money as they possibly can from it. And a lot of fans, even though they see it as unnecessary, would have probably watched it anyway and are still most likely going to watch it. I don't know if this will fail or not. I really have no idea which way this will go at the moment, but I guess we will see. They should do a poll so people would decide of the casting. They'd be shocked about how no one wants this man as Snape, but Adam Driver instead, for instance. If they put Adam Driver to the test for this one against other actors, he's a pretty bang-on description for the character of Snape. When I saw him in Star Wars, I was like, oh god, he looks like Snape. He really, really does. Why? I really don't get it. The only thing these changes have achieved is division, stigmatization, and even racism. I don't understand why they had to adapt something that was already so well done. Well, the films are very well done. I think this will just add more to it and fill in even more of the gaps, particularly from Deathly Hallows. I would say that this comment is pretty much hitting the nail on the head. It does create division, it does create stigmatization, and it does create racism. And people are obviously going to be having a lot of says about it and opinions. At the end of the day, I really do think that we need to stop changing the characters for the sake of changing it to make any kind of point or recognize any kind of social injustice. Create new stuff if you want to do that. Do we really need a new HBO Harry Potter series? No, not really. I was looking forward to it. Now I'm not so sure. I haven't decided now whether or not I'm going to watch it. But let me know what you think. Chat about it, don't shout about it. Like, share, subscribe to the channel, switch on the notification bell so that you know when I am releasing another video. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.